Hey guys, Dylan here, and the first thing I want to say is happy 4th of July to everybody. The second thing I want to say is that we have big updates to talk about. The first big update is the fact that Drifting Edge Issue 1 is out.
Sonic was our symbol of justice, a hero to everyone. It was nice knowing that no matter how bad things got, no matter what villain there was, Sonic would always be there to stop them and save the day. The people depended on him. That's why the day he died, many people just gave up. Who could ever live up to someone like him? Is there anyone that could even come close to doing what he was capable of? These are the questions people ask themselves. The government's answer was to draft citizens into the war against Eggman. We never had to deal with any conflict like this before, and just giving untrained citizens a strange weapon they'd never seen and expecting them to hold back enemy forces may not have been the brightest idea. That's where I come in. My name is Edge! And that's my friend Jay! And I are two of those poor saps who have to get drafted. This is our first mission, and we're working with two other people I have never seen before. We were told to check out this old warehouse outside of the town walls to see if it could be of value to the resistance.
So, The Drifting Edge is Dylan Thomas's Sonic fanfiction comic that he writes and his girlfriend draws. And to say it's awful is a little extreme, but I do think there's a lot of fundamental flaws in its characters and its writing and its attempts at, story. For a little bit of clarification, The Drifting Edge takes place in the Sonic Forces era of Sonic games. And I don't know if that's an era or its own timeline because I don't fucking know the Sonic franchise, but I have played at least the first couple levels of Forces, and I'm lost as to why he wrote it in that timeline. But Sonic Forces takes place in a fucking war with Eggman, where there's an army and a group of rebels. It's basically Star Wars Sonic, but it takes place in that era, and it centers around a character named Edge, and I believe another slightly important character named Jay, with two side characters that are Rex and Flint. Since I'm not reviewing Comic Zero, because it's basically just a prequel and an exposition dump of what's going on, basically what happens in Zero is they go to a base and they get a fucking ruby, and the ruby's fucking powerful, and the characters are inconsistent. It attempts to establish characters by establishing Jay as Jay is established as the snarky and sarcastic character, but he jumps from being snarky and sarcastic to just being a dick in 40 seconds. Not even. It's literally a panel difference. It's not even a page difference. It's a panel difference. Edge is established as the goofy, younger one, the one who's gonna make the mistakes, the one who's gonna do the silly stuff, the emotional one. Flint is established as Wolverine, basically. That's his personality. That's all he is. He looks like Wolverine. He acts like Wolverine. He's a big tough guy who's big and strong and can do it all himself. Rex is established as the quiet one, the one who's got the big powers, but is all silent and mysterious. All these characters are just walking, talking stereotypes and easy character traits slapped onto basically nothing. Beyond the little things I described, there is not much more to their characters. At all. Jay is smart and sarcastic. He's just Falco from Star Fox. That's all he is. Edge is literally just Tails, but fucking edgy. That's all his character is either.
I have some Tails.
Edge.
But I have training Tails.
As I said, Flint is basically just fucking Wolverine, and I don't really think I need an example of what Rex is, because there's so many other characters like that. And beyond this, the characters really aren't established much else. And I don't really understand why, because it's a prequel comic, and I would have assumed they would have taken that time to establish the characters. It establishes how they had a Ruby. That's all it establishes, and it establishes the Ruby has powers. That's fucking it. Other than establishing the Forces timeline, which, I mean, you could gather from the war happening, and as well, I mean, you need that knowledge of Forces in the first place to even know what's going on here. I don't think this issue does anything interesting. It doesn't give any of the characters anything to do. They just go into a place, take a thing, and that's it. That's literally it. And they establish the thing can do things. Not what it can do, it just describes it as powerful. This issue feels like nothing's actually happening, and the only reason it exists is to further the story an exposition dump instead of do actually anything. And believe me, that will be a consistent problem when I actually get into detail about issue 1. But I'm gonna leave that off with issue 0 for now.
So, what'd you think that thingy we found was?
How do you think I would know? I only got to see a few seconds.
Ooh, do you think it could be a Chaos Emerald?
Considering the fact that it was clearly a ruby and not an emerald, I doubt it is.
Oh, I knew that. I was just kidding.
Sure we were.
I don't know, man. I don't like how that last mission went down. We were just supposed to get the data and leave. We weren't prepped about any super weapon.
Maybe they are just as much in the dark as us about this situation.
Well, they shouldn't be. This was the commander's mission. He should be aware of this far before we were sent off. If I knew that thing was there, I never would have taken those 2 kids with us.
Without them, we would have no Ruby, and possibly no you if I was distracted when that bot attacked.
Bah, I didn't need any help getting out of that. I've been in far worse spots before, and here I am today.
Time has taken its toll on you since then, my friend.
And what is that supposed to mean?
What was that noise?
How did they get past the gate to get in? We're under attack! Get into pairs and take out any bot you see!
Whoa, you feel that, Jay?
Yeah, seems like an attack.
But why here? We don't have any.
The ruby! Eggman must have sent his men to take it back.
You're right. We have to tell Flint and Rex to protect the ruby.
That will take too long. We'll split up. You go find them, and I'll go get the ruby first, and hold them off with this baby.
That's the experimental bomb launcher custom. We'll get busted if the commander sees you with that.
No time to plan. We have to get the ruby right now. This gun is the only thing strong enough to hold off these bots until you get backup. I'll explain it to them after we win, okay?
Okay, if you say so, Jay.
Good. Now I can take care of this myself.
Man, these things are weaker than your usual egghead bots. You think he's going easy on us?
No, but something feels off about this attack.
Like what?
Well, it's just...
Guys, they're after the ruby!
How do you know that, kid? And hey, where's your partner? I said break off in pairs.
No time to explain. He went to stop them.
We're kinda busy here, kid. Someone has to protect these people.
You don't understand.
I understand. And unlike you, we're actually following protocol here. You rookies are sloppy, and you fail at following orders. That can get everyone killed.
Jay!
I think we should follow.
And what? Leave these guys to destroy the base?
Let's get moving.
Cassie, I fucking hate you for making me do this. I hope you get this far into the audio. You get 5 minutes and 44 seconds in, and you hear this section of me telling you that I fucking hate you for making me do this.
Oh, alright. Guess we have to check on the back now anyways. What happened here?
The real question is how those bugs caused an explosion this big.
Whoa, what happened here? Hey kid, what's that you got there?
It was Jay's. I found it in the rubble.
Did you find anything else?
No! No, Jay! No bots, no Ruby, they're all gone!
There, kid. Everything's going to be alright.
No! Things will never be okay! He's gone and it's all my fault! I should have been there and I could have saved him!
If you tried to help him, both of you would have met the same fate.
You alerted us and immediately ran back to help. You did all that you could do. That's all that matters. So, what's this thing you have here? Doesn't look like any Wispin I've seen.
Oh, that. It's a custom Wispin me and Jay have been working on.
Wait, what? You kids were working on stuff like this? Why wasn't I aware of it?
Because Jay told me we had to keep them a secret. He said if others found out, we would get in trouble and have our projects taken away.
I don't know where you heard that from, but we always welcome new mechanics. As long as their tools follow regulation, that is.
You said them. Does that mean there are more? Is that what I think it is? This looks just like the Chaos Sabers we have back home. But how Chaos weapons are outlawed here?
Jay has connections. He would go and meet people to get parts we needed to make our customs. One day he found the old thing and we reverse engineered it to be a laser Wispin. We could try if you want. We got that one working and it's already loaded.
I commend you for your craftsmanship. I trained for years before my father let me assemble a saber. Would you still happen to own the Chaos Drive that came from this blade? They mean a lot to my people, and I would feel better if I kept it with me.
Sure, let me go and get it. I was about to get something else anyways. Here, catch!
You shouldn't throw these around. If its container were to break, it could explode.
Oh, I didn't know that. Hey, Flint, I saw you punch through that badnik earlier. Maybe this will help you. You know, not break your hands next time.
And what are these things supposed to be?
They're custom gauntlets. Just like with the saber, these used to be chaos powered, and we made it work with wisps instead. Go ahead and give them a whirl.
Whoa!
I feel like that is a tad bit overkill.
I forgot we had Spike in last time. Coming out, little buddy. Hey, Cube, your turn. Hop on in.
This thing can use multiple wisps. I've never seen any pawn like this.
Who could be calling him?
So, what do they want?
When we had the ruby in containment, we'd studied the energy signature it gave off in hopes of making a way to keep track of where Infinite is since the raid. We have been scanning non-stop, hoping that whoever took the ruby would activate it, so we could track them back to their base and retrieve it.
And let me guess, they just found them.
Yes, but what concerns me is the location they sent.
Oh, and where may that be? Of course it had to be that place again.
Maybe the robots came back for their ruby and took Jay with them. If we act fast to get back up, we can go and get the ruby and save it before breakfast.
Edge, I doubt that
I'm sorry, what were you saying? I zoned out for a second.
Oh, Rexy was just saying how we should start getting ready to go.
Oh great, who else will be coming?
All other troops are busy with cleanup. This mission has been appointed to Flint and I.
Oh.
And you, of course. Jay's your friend after all.
Great, I'll grab my hammer.
With everything he has gone through today, I do not feel it would be wise for him to go on the battlefield with us.
He needs to get his mind off what happened. Maybe this will give him, some closure.
What if he does something reckless and hurts himself or us?
Don't worry. I'll take full responsibility over him and take him under my wing like I did with you.
That's exactly what I was afraid you'd say.
I'm ready, guys. Let's do this.
Hop in.
Do we really have to take that thing? I'd feel much safer if we just walked.
Walk? There's no way we can make it by sundown if we had to walk. Trust me, this is much faster.
No, this is faster. Chaos control.
Whoa, what was that?
That's chaos control, kid. We don't need that mumbo jumbo. We can get there just as fast in this baby.
Can it really go that fast?
Probably not. But that won't stop us from trying.
Another fire? What's...
I know, kid. Hold on. We're about to go a lot faster. We're here. You alright, kid?
Ah, here comes the rest of the friendship gang, just as expected. Predictable, aren't you?
Put him down, Feathers.
Here. I don't think you'll be fighting anymore. The name is Cardinal. I expect you worms to call me by it, or I'll make your deaths slow and painful.
I'll make sure the entire prison calls you Feathers after I lock you away.
Slow and painful it is, then.
Keep an eye on Rex. I'm gonna finish this.
Oh, are you now? This should be fun. Now it's your turn to dodge Mutt. Take this!
Ah! It'll take a lot more than that to stop me!
I would hope so. Your little rabbit friend was able to take 2 hits before he fell. And that's 2. Yet you still stand. Looks like you beat your friend's record, Hound. Any last words before I kill the 3 of you?
I have a question.
Oh, this should be good. Speak your question, Runt, and make it quick.
Where is he? My friend Jay. He went to get the ruby you're wearing now.
Oh, you mean the little blue? I simply killed him.
I don't believe you.
Here, I'll show you.
Enough!
You passed!
He's fucking dead.
Oh my god, okay.
To be continued.
Excuse me, little miss. I heard you're a big fan of the Sonic franchise. Would you like to tell me your opinion of Dylan Thomas's Drifting Edge comic?
Listen, I've been a Sonic fan since I was 12 years old. All I wanted for Christmas that year, back in 1982, is a copy of Sonic the Hedgehog for the Atari 2600, and I'm sorry.
It's okay. Take your
My
time.
mom didn't get it for me. But a year later, I finally got it for Christmas, and it was the best game I've ever played. Sonic the Hedgehog is the greatest gaming series ever made. I would say the games are so good, they're better than sex. Okay? Yeah, and, you know, I read this comic, and this shit ain't ballin'. The Last of Us 2, listen, that game sucks. And I've never actually played it, I just read a tweet about how it sucked, so it must be true. Anyway, back to Sonic Forces. Yeah, I mean, that game sucked. And, you know, I can't imagine actually wanting to make a comic, like, based off of that failed abortion of a game, but okay, that's fine, you know? Maybe you could make a good story out of it. Maybe you could take a shitty game and make it into something good. And maybe that would erase the pain that shitty fucking game made me feel, but you know what? All we get are these fucking characters that I've never heard of, okay? And, you know, like, I like the concept of a Sonic Star Fox crossover, but I don't know why Falco's in there. I don't understand that. But, you know, it's pretty dope that you got to get the Funimation voice actors for that, though. I mean, I don't know, how much did you pay them anyway?
That wasn't Funimation. Those were just people I know.
Bro, you're friends with the fucking Funimation VAs, bro. Can you give me a fucking Sean Schemmel autograph, dude? Well, it's like the entire thing is based off of, you know, Falco dying, okay? And it's like, you know, I understand Falco has like an established canon in the Star Fox universe and everything. I understand that. You know, and I understand that these fan fictions are supposed to expand upon that. But there was just no explanation as to why he was there, man. They don't like, you know how, like, with most crossovers, they, like, you know, have some sort of, like, universal convergence. Yeah, there's like a portal, or there's like a conversion of universes or some fucking shit.
The dimensions, the Chris Chan thing, Dylan, you'll like that comment. You'll like me bringing up Chris Chan in this video. The dimensional merge, that's it. You like that one, Dylan?
I hate Dylan Thomas so much. Dylan Thomas took my childhood and he just raped it.
So, to properly do this, I'm going to talk about 4 major problems the comic has, and relatively go over points within those 4 topics, and have specific examples brought up so he can understand exactly what I'm talking about. Again, as I said before, the comic isn't horrible, but it has quite a bit of flaws right now that make the experience a lot less enjoyable and make a lot less sense. So let's just go over them. The first thing I think it's important to acknowledge is that the characters are really inconsistent. I already pointed out an example of this with Jay in issue 0, where Jay goes from being the sarcastic and snarky character to just being a dick within a few panels for no real reason. It doesn't really make sense to me why the characters flip-flop their personalities so much. The scene where Ed is talking to Flint right after Jay disappears, Flint is scolding Ed severely for being a rookie and for doing careless things on the battlefield that could get people hurt and not listening to orders. Then, when they find the ruby was used and they go to the place, for some reason Flint thinks it's a good idea to bring Edge along, despite him clearly not being trained for battle and him already thinking Edge will mess things up and won't listen to orders. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would Flint suddenly go from the rough and tough guy who's, you know, gonna scold the younger ones for not knowing what they're doing in battle to just bringing a small child into a battle at a massive enemy base? I don't actually know how old Edge is, but I think we all interpret him as a kid, or everyone I read it with interpreted him as a kid. But if he's not a kid, he's still clearly a rookie, and that's kind of important here. Clearly Flint does not like the amount of inexperience in Edge, so he scolds him. And that's also why he said he wouldn't have brought him to the base they went to in issue 0. So why is he suddenly so comfortable bringing him to another base at the end of issue 1? And you can say it's because he felt bad for him because Jay died, but Rex makes a good point of that's a horrible idea because he could be more reckless because his best friend just died. That kind of brings me to the next point of Edge being a really inconsistent character with Jay's death. In issue 0, it is established by Edge that Edge and Jay are best friends, and Jay dies in issue 1. Edge is heartbroken, it seems at first, but being that the next couple pages take place within the same day, and he is suddenly fine, I'm wondering why he's suddenly so okay. I get it, he still thinks Jay is alive and that they can go rescue him, but you'd assume the character would still be a little upset his friend is being held hostage by Eggman. You would kind of assume that. But instead he goes from super distraught over it to fine with it in like 10 seconds. Because, you know, they asked about the weapons. I don't really understand, again, why Flint was so comfortable bringing someone as immature as Edge to a mission where they'd be fighting a bunch of robots at Eggman's base after saying, if I didn't know there would be robots at the other base, I would have never brought those kids along. So as I said while talking about issue 0, the Ruby has very strange powers that we don't know how work. So the Ruby, if I'm correct, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about this, is what made the Sonic from Sonic Mania teleport into the world of Sonic Forces. Either way, the Ruby here does not have any defined power value whatsoever. The Ruby at one point just blows a bunch of robots up in a room in issue 0, and they're acting like it has some massive power in issue 1, but it didn't really do anything in issue 0 other than blow a few robots up. The Ruby is seen destroying a bunch of robots in a room, but I'm also pretty sure it's giving Cardinal his powers? So does the Ruby kind of just work like Chaos Control? You know, Chaos Control is also used differently in this comic than it's used in the actual games. yes, apparently in this comic, Chaos Control can be used by activating a Chaos Drive. And Chaos Drives are a thing in the Sonic universe that are established. I basically just read the Wikipedia page for Sonic Adventure 2, where it talks about what they do, and I'm just gonna put that up on screen right now. But it says fucking nothing about a character being able to use Chaos Control with it. That's what I would assume a Chaos Emerald is for, but I don't even think Sonic knows its own consistency with rules. But either way, it is not established what either of these things do, the Ruby or Chaos Drives. Also, Chaos Control, I don't believe, just makes you teleport. Like, if he was using Chaos Control, wouldn't that have made him, like, have a bunch of other powers? And wouldn't at that point he been able to fight Cardinal and beat the shit out of him? Like, if we're to say that Rex can use Chaos Control, then Rex should have been able to fight Cardinal, unless this Ruby has some power that we don't know of, but we aren't told because we don't know how powerful anything actually is in this comic. It's so inconsistent. There's no rules to what these things can do. So a Chaos Drive can activate Chaos Control, which in this comic can only be used to teleport unless we're gonna be told more later. But that's what I'm interpreting right now, being that it gave Rex no powers whatsoever, and Chaos Control is supposed to actually boost your powers. The characters are, of course, as I said, inconsistent, but they're also not developed whatsoever by the time they have, you know, screen time that feels important. All our main characters have the living shit kicked out of them in the first comic, and there's no care for it whatsoever, because, like, they aren't established as having personalities beyond basic traits. It's implied but not confirmed that Jay dies in the first comic. Why would I fucking care? Because he's the main character's best friend? I don't give a shit about the main character either, because you've given me no reason to give a shit about the main character. I get it, he's the main character, you're supposed to care about him, but how the hell am I supposed to care about the main character if you don't give me a reason to? If you don't establish anything about these characters beyond basic personality traits, and then don't give us anything to work off of that would further make me give a shit about them, then why do you do emotional scenes and intense scenes so quickly? There is nothing making me care that Rex got the shit kicked out of him by a bird. There is nothing making me care that Jay was murdered. There is nothing making me care that Flint gets shot multiple times. And there's nothing making me care that Edge is electrocuted, I guess. There is not a single reason to care about any of these characters because they aren't built up at all. There's no investment. There's none whatsoever. These are surface level stereotypes. This is like Doki Doki Literature Club shit. It's like, why would people have an emotional investment in something that they are given no reason to emotionally invest into? I think it's fair to say that this is just all the things I've said so far are just a part of a way bigger issue of just Dylan Thomas's pretentious and bad writing. The plot in this first comic goes way too fast and gives none of the characters actually anything to do in it. I think Dylan is going to misconstrue what I'm saying when I say something to do. Something to do, from my perspective at least, is something that further progresses the character and gives us a reason to care about those characters. Characters doing actions are things they're doing, but they aren't furthering our care or investment in them or explaining them more or anything. It feels boring this way because nobody's ever actually accomplishing anything. They're just doing shit. And it's just happening for the sake of progressing the story. And if that's how you want to tell your story, that's fine, but don't try and create emotional character moments while you're just telling a story and not actually investing us in the characters. The plot is going way too fast for its own good. I mean, in the first comic, so there's a Ruby from issue 0 that they have that is super powerful, then their base is broken into by Eggman, it's stolen, Jay is kidnapped, and then they have to go fight a bird that apparently kidnapped and murdered Jay and beat the living shit out of our 3 characters, and that's all in the span of 30 pages. This whole comic, to my knowledge, happens within a day. I'm pretty sure every event of this one happens all within the same 24-hour time span. why not space that stuff out, you know? That would even, like, actually explain a little Edge's ability to be okay with going to fight, instead of just immediately going right back into battle. The dude's not, like, over his best friend possibly dying yet. But no, of course, it needs to all be done quickly, so we can then fit more things to happen quickly and later. The character's dialogue is just, you know, not the greatest, and as I said before, inconsistent. I like how Jay says fuck in the first comic for no reason, and then there's no swearing after that at all. Yeah, we're all adults here, we can say fucking shit and ass and piss, but also my characters talk like a 4-year-old wrote them. So I just want to throw out where I think the comic is going. So Jay in issue 0 is the one who grabs the ruby, and then at the end of issue 0 you can see like his shadow behind him is red and everyone else's is black. So I have a strong feeling that Jay is Cardinal, which would also make sense because, you know, one, their characters look the exact fucking same other than the hair being forward and backward. It would also make sense why they suddenly attacked the base right when they had the ruby without Eggman probably knowing they had the ruby unless Jay were to have told them, and this was his way of getting the ruby himself to fight for Eggman. Jay just seems like an undercover operative, so they come and invade the base. Jay has the perfect chance to disappear, then they go to get the ruby back, and then Jay, as Cardinal, with the ruby on, just beats the shit out of them. You could say, oh, well, he showed him killing Jay, but like that could be fake. If you're writing that in, that's fine, and if that's where this is going, please don't try and make it like some big forced thing. You remember when they tried to act like it was surprising in Arkham Knight when Jason Todd was the Arkham Knight? It wasn't. The clear foreshadowing of Jason Todd appearing 3 times in the game, and the villain clearly knowing everything about Batman, including his name, it makes it pretty obvious that it's Jason Todd. And it's the same shit here. It's forced foreshadowing to try and create a twist earlier, a fucking gotcha moment. I get it, it feels more natural than a random twist, but it's so poorly done. Also, you know, either way, I'm not really gonna care because, you know, I never cared about Jay in the first place. His name is Cardinal the Cardinal, and Jay is named Jay the Blue Jay. They're the only characters that are named after their animals. Can I make it any more fucking obvious for you? Dylan, I hope you don't think this is a clever twist because it's just not. Overall, again, this comic isn't horrible, but there's just a lot of flaws with its structure. I'm not making this video because I hate Dylan Thomas or something. I know he just unadded me on Discord as I put in my last video, but I went to look at his channel after that because like it'd been years since I looked at his content, that this is like a half decent idea that can just be fixed with some tweaking. I don't think Dylan Thomas is like an evil person because he made a bad webcomic or something. Believe me, I'm not Dylan Thomas. I'm not gonna say because somebody made a bad comic, they're fucking awful. The art is commendable, very commendable, and I don't doubt that you could flesh these characters out, but my concern is that won't happen. We're 2 issues in, and we've gotten more moments that are supposed to be devastating to characters than moments that make us actually care about those characters. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I'm hoping to have a few more videos out this month. I also want to shout out everybody who is in this video. Just a Robot, Gorilla Radio, my friend Oscar, I don't remember his channel name right now, I think it's a little Gary V, Pignorant, and my very close friend Kat, who did Edge's voice literally fantastically. Oh, and Drake Draxall. Drake Draxall was here too. So yeah, thank you to everyone who helped work on the video, and yeah.